focus on me.
It's showtime.
Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive coverage of all elite wrestling.
This is what pro wrestling should be like.
I told you guys, positive energy.
I think that created a little moment in itself.
You're saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
That punk, that long-haired hippie freak.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
People that you need to be careful in the locker room.
I definitely think that women's wrestling has been elevated.
And with the loss of Brody, I feel like we were just kind of a little bit directionless.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
Raw Horse.
Raw Horse?
Oh my god!
Amazing.
I had to smack him around a few times to fully gain his respect.
You said that in front of the voice of a generation?
Versus Frankie's match.
Awesome.
This podcast is quite frankly the drizzling shit, if I'm being quite honest.
The day spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, and I am drinking the blood of champions tonight. Celebrating.
Tastes so sweet.
So sweet. What a freaking night, dude.
Oh my gosh, I needed like a cool down after watching that live. I was like, okay, let me put on. What did I watch after? Watch something. Oh, British Baking Show for a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta watch something.
A little polar opposite. I needed to kind of cool down. Welcome. Hey, SPD's back. I got to say, hey, thanks, Steven, for filling in from the bullpen. Appreciate you holding down the fort with Mind Runner last week while I was on the high seas. Excellent trip. I missed y'all, and perfect timing to come back for such an epic show last night with Blood and Guts. What is this, Blood and Guts 4 or 5? I think this is the 4th Blood and Guts. I've been to 1, almost went to 2, almost went yesterday, but it was just a lot going on with my travel schedule and just things didn't happen right. But I was comfortable watching in my home, just relaxing and marking out and chat and texting y'all. But what a show. A lot of people are saying that it could be one of the best Dynamites of the year. With 3 matches, 3 incredible matches, 2. How often do you get 2 cage matches, let alone 2 team cage matches on one show that's free TV? Incredible stuff, man. Incredible stuff. And I feel like, stars were born in a sense. Like people are their momentum is going to be high on a lot of people after last night's show.
I would say stars were born, more so stars were validated last night.
There you go. I like that.
Talent was validated last night. And yeah, the men brought it. The men delivered. Granted, there were less moments like setting Jack Perry on fire or the gas. There were moments in previous Blood and Guts and the men's Blood and Guts where there were more like, oh crap moments. But it was a great series. I love how it ended. We're going to talk about that. But ladies of AEW, women's division. Brava. You came to work. Everybody came to work in this. Granted, if it wasn't what the cast of characters I envisioned 3 years ago, but the women's division isn't what it was 3 years ago. I think it's better, not taking away from those ladies that aren't regulars anymore because they paved the way and they would come back and fit right in with this crew. Last night's Blood and Guts was exactly what the ladies promised, what they needed to do. They brought it. It was phenomenal. Every spot was fantastic. Everybody did great. from Sky Blue, Willow, all the way to the Statlander Monet spots. Tekla and Julia climbing through the Louvre. I saw something like that. The whole thing was great. But with only 3 matches, it did feel like a pay-per-view. But wedged in between these 2 slaughterhouse matches, these tremendous matches, you had one of the best singles matches that they've had all year. Hanger versus Powerhouse Hobbs, 2 of the best in the entire company. And they came
huge spots, huge bumps for both guys.
Excellent. 10 stars, 12 it was in the Tokyo Dome. This was phenomenal. I had such a great time watching this. This was one of the best Dynamites I've seen, probably top 10 of all time. Great.
I gotta say, the show itself, before we really start diving into it, like we got this photo. Like I just felt like it was shot differently. It felt differently. Justin Roberts on the floor with the announcements. I mean, it just felt special, which that's what I really appreciated as well. On top of it being just a Dynamite, quote unquote. So they did such a great job with that overall. Everyone brought down the house. I think it definitely, for me, overall, the show exceeded my expectations. And in such a pivotal year for the women's division, we had the first ever Blood and Guts. We're getting the women's tag team titles. Hopefully they get crowned before the end of the year. And Steven in the chat say possible Continental Classic next. So, I mean, they're taking huge strides this year. This is one of the biggest growth years of that division that we've seen since the start of AEW, and it's been a fun ride. And them kicking off the show was before we get into that, we'll talk about this too. The top 1 and 2, rightfully so, getting their awards for the PWI Women's Top 250. Love that these 2 are featured, especially in AEW. I mean, we've spoken so highly of Mercedes on our show over the last months and beating a dead horse about everything she's doing. And last night was no different as well. She played her role perfectly, safely, and I'm really excited to see how this title match plays out at Full Gear in 10 days we're at. Mm-hmm. So congrats to these 2 ladies. Getting the 1 and 2 is not an easy thing in such a deep division in the industry, but wow, look at this matchup. I mean, 6-on-6 inside, starting off Dynamite, man. If you could pick an MVP from each team, well, who would you pick for team babyface and team heel for MVP?
Yes, I know. I would just I because we talked about this offline. We were talking about our top performers. I mean, who picking one, I feel like does a disservice to the other 11. I mean, like, okay, I'll start with this. It won't take
flowers away from everyone else.
I'll start with the ugliest supermodel. I'll start with the least awesome. They were all awesome. I felt like Jamie Hayter might have gotten hurt. You and I talked on text that she might have gotten hurt, and she was missing out on a lot of spots. So I think her absence was felt. But I think from a expectation to delivery, there were some like Willow was fantastic. We've seen her dominate. Yes, Megan Bain, we're going to get there. We've seen her dominate before. She was the perfect person to open up against Sky Blue. Sky Blue has gotten a shite ton of praise, of deserving praise for her stance, for her showing in the Blood and Guts. And yes, she walked away with the bloodiest visage and everything. I don't think she was the top though on her team. I agree about Megan Bain's presence was great. Mercedes was for Mercedes who she is and her character. Mercedes stepped up. I like that she gave everybody on her team a belt to beat everybody with. I thought that was a great touch.
Just whipping everybody with one of the titles.
They really isolated her with Statlander. This is gonna blow people's minds. I don't care because this is just how I felt. I'm gonna say Marina Shafir was actually my top for the women for the heels. And granted, Megan Bayne deserves it. Everyone else deserves it. And if you ask me an hour later, I'd probably say Tekla. But right now, I think this was the Marina Shafir that we needed when she first came to AEW. She needed the Moxley rub back then, but she got it. Yeah, the feet spot. I like that. At first, when she took her shoes off, I'm like, "Are you crazy? There's tacks."
I know there's stuff everywhere. I'm like, "Come on!"
But when she stomped her foot to get glass in it, and then started kicking Mina with it, like that, you're insane. But see, that's the Marine. That if you're gonna call somebody the problem, they need to be that scary. And with Moxley has helped make her that scary. This is the Marina Shafir we've needed, and I was so happy to see her that way. But I could have just as easily said Megan Bayne. She was the Goliath monster that she needed to be. I was impressed with Mercedes because while this is a Tekla, Sky Blue, Julia Hart, Marina Shafir style match, this wasn't a Mercedes style match, and she stepped up and she played her part well. Hands down for me, though, as much as I love the other ladies, Statlander was my standout on the baby faces. Statlander was the star. She was the Hulk Hogan. She was the Stone Cold. She was the main person. And that's in a ring with Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, Willow. Statlander has risen to, she is where Hangman got to earlier this year. I called her the best bout machine. I still believe that. She now walks and talks like Hangman, not like literally, but you know what I mean? It's that same status. She is the champion, and she carried herself that way. And the whole stuff she did with Mercedes, everything. I say Statlander for the baby faces, and I'm saying Marina Shafir for the villains.
I love your take on those. And before I give you mine, it just reminded me, I think I sent it to you guys, but if you haven't seen what AEW posted, I love what they did. It's like before Blood and Guts, after Blood and Guts, the headshots and pictures. I don't know if you put any on there.
I got to get here.
Oh yeah, there's some right there. The aftermath. But they did it. It's like, I've seen some reels and stuff online. It's like, this is me before Vegas. This is me after Vegas. So it's like almost the same thing. Like, this is me before Blood and Guts. This is me after Blood and Guts. And it's great, man. But, back to, for me, the the heel team, and you can roll through some of these slides as we're chatting it through. Like, I think the heel team, the one that surprised me the most through all of this was Marina Shafir. And I think she did such an awesome job. And after last night's performance, I'm like, oh, dang. Her and Bayne are going to be, to me, are the favorites, are definitely the top favorites after what I saw last night. And I think my standout person was Megan Bayne. As soon as she got in the ring and just started dominating people, I was like, oh, wow, she's putting on an absolute clinic. If you've seen anything on social of her recent schedule of going back and forth to Japan and wrestling so like every day, multiple matches, and then coming here and wrestling, like, she is the real deal. And that team with Bayne and Shafir is going to be a tough one to beat after what I saw last night at Blood and Guts. Obviously Sky Blue has the most memorable moments with that crimson mask and her just being insane and taking a lot of spots. So I felt like the team, as much as I'm a team babyface, team heel, deserved to win that match. And I felt like they just clicked better as a team with a lot of big standout moments and cool spots. Like you said, the escaping the cage and then doing all that stuff. And I do like the finish too, with it makes a more storyline with Tony and Mina and the saving. I was always wondering, I'm like, how are they going to, with these talent matches, it's always hard to kind of book a finish, especially in a blood and guts where it's like tap or give up or tap or surrender. But this one, see the before and after, sky blue, sky red. I love this on it. But babyface, you're absolutely right, man. Statlander was by far the most standout performer in Team Babyface. Maybe things could have been different if Jamie Hayter, she came in hot and she came in strong. Maybe Charbel was wrong too, as people are saying some teeth chipped or whatever it may be, but she was a warrior and finished the match. But Statlander taking the bed of nails, taking the table spot at the end of the match, and everything in between. Like, she was an absolute rock star this whole match. And I don't think after that performance, no one's going to stop her, even Mercedes Moné taking the title from her anytime soon.
No, but that's smart booking to put those two together, because going back to
for sure
Mercedes number 1 and Toni Storm number 2 and PWI 250, Statlander versus Mercedes Moné, it's number 3. That's gonna feed families. I mean, that's gonna, after what we saw last night, their chemistry together, it's gonna be phenomenal, and that's gonna be another feud I hope continues off and on. I mean, I want Stat to go have a feud with someone else for a while, but I'd love to have them continue to come back and revisit this, because both of these ladies brought it. Every lady, for the most part, had got their shit in it, for lack of a better term. They got some great spots, and I felt and my only nitpick, if I could nitpick anything, and I do want to talk about the ending, because I kind of disagree with you on the ending, just because I felt like it was anticlimactic to me, except when you look at it as the entire show. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. My only nitpick is, I was hoping we would at least get Tekla the Spider to crawl across the top of the ring, underneath like a spider, and then drop down on. That at least something like that. If you're doing the spider shtick, that would have been cool to have her just kind of climb. She did kind of climb out, like with Julia Hart. I mean, that kind of thing. All right. Both Full Tilt Deb and I, which I'm surprised Full Tilt Deb is not in the chat. She has a cat on her, so as soon as the cat leaves, she'll come in the chat. But anyways, we both were
better than a spider.
We're both kind of disappointed, because it was kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, okay. I mean, it would be different, like when the Bucks surrendered, because Bucks surrendered because Darby was gonna set Jack Perry on fire. That was believable. But Marina just getting beat with belts, I think,
and choked out.
And I think if they had something a little more serious about to happen, like Marina should have picked up a piece of glass and was going to carve her face or something. True,
that sounds good. But she was getting choked out by Marina too.
Yeah, but I mean, she would have just passed out. But here's why I think, though, this, and as you look at that ending in perspective of the whole night, that set up the men's match better, because what that did was you started thinking, are they going to surrender, because are the baby faces going to surrender because one of them is in jeopardy, and are they going to do the same ending, the Roddy Kyle O'Reilly ending? Is that going to be the same as the Toni Storm thing? And they didn't do that. They made you think, are they going to go that same direction? And they didn't. And to me, I think that's what's important. I think that actually set us up for that. And then they twisted it, and they had one of the best endings to. That's right. It was the best blood and guts.
Can you hear?
I've ever heard. Yeah, we're jamming. But
the wife is rehearsing.
Oh, is she? Oh, nice.
Yeah, we got some background music.
We need a new Dynamite download theme. She can sing it for us. But
okay. I mean, so that's the thing. It's like I don't want to take away the awesome match of the ending, and like I said, I'm always concerned of how it goes. But yeah, if there was a little bit more, but it made sense. Like they were correct me if I'm wrong, they're outnumbered in the ring already because they locked the cage out. They speared the ref, took the key. Statlander was out. Someone else, I think, was out of the ring. So Tony and Mina were already a little outnumbered, I believe, inside the cage. But this match exceeded all my expectations in a good way.
Yeah,
and not like I had no expectations.
Yeah, what I said was a nitpick. Like, it was phenomenal. 10 million stars. It was fantastic. Yeah,
they set the bar for the night pretty high, and they could have been the main event as well. And the same thing, like you talk about the leaders of divisions essentially, and to circle back to what I'm going to say about the Statlander and Mercedes. Like, yes, Statlander has been an OG AEW, but Mercedes is clearly like the star in AEW right now. And for her to give the Mercedes rub to people in this match, for her to give the Mercedes rub to Statlander at Full Gear will really be kind of the whole vibe of, you know, having all ships rise as the tides rise backstage in AEW and in the division. And looking at this picture and everyone involved last night, it's like they want the whole division to succeed. And I don't feel like there's any egotistical people trying to stand out for themselves, which is nice. Other than maybe this person.
Well, that's what you just stepped on my line. What I was going to say was, out of all of these damaged, you know, all these horrible aftermath pictures, the most heartbreaking one is, you know, poor, you know, Minnie Monet died on the field of honor. She died historic in the battlefield of honor, you know, witness me. But yeah, and Harley Cameron is such a dynamic wrestler, you know, that the puppets, the comedy, but also the serious wrestling. She was phenomenal. Everybody was great. Again, that masterclass. The women did exactly what they needed to do. There will be more matches like this, and yeah, they're deserving of a Continental Classic and the tag division, and we're going to see more because like I said earlier, the talents were validated last night. I think. It's almost like, though, it's like you got these blood and guts. How do you shoehorn a singles match in between these two? How do you shoehorn a singles match in between these two? Oh,
gosh.
When it's Hangman versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Never mind.
Had to get the cowboy hat for this one.
Oh, geez. All right. You want to start about this one, dude? I mean, because good God.
Yeah, man. I mean, we know both guys we're obviously huge fans of both these guys in Dynamite Download, especially Hobbs, man. The guy is incredible. He's had such an awesome career in AEW and continue to rise and rise and rise more and more and more. Hangman having this absolute brutal match, you know, 10 days away or a week and a half away from the title match, which is now a cage match with Samoa Joe at Full Gear. Incredible stuff. So this one exceeded my expectations as well. I know Hangman was doing some interviews and it was saying his kid was in attendance. We know Hobbs is, you know, a softie at heart, but he is just one mean guy you never want to meet in an alley, but he's such an awesome, cool guy. Yeah. But there were some big bumps in this match for both guys. You know, everything from right off before the commercial break, Hobbs breaking backs, you know, living up to his name, his, you know, back body drop on the apron, back body drop on the table, and back body drop onto the steps. Yeah. Man, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, that you were talking about those bumps that we had to rewind and watch back when Hobbs when he I don't think he was doing a dead eye, but when Hanger flipped him off the announcer desk, Hobbs landed square on his ass, and like. I think if he was
bounced like a trampoline,
if he was not built like he is, he would have broke his tailbone. But he bounced like a freaking, like he was on one of those, you know, those little bouncy guys that kids bounce around. You know, those
little bounce balls. Yeah.
Yeah. He bounced on his ass like
I've never seen that before.
Like 2 or 3 inches. I was like, I thought he was dead, but he wasn't. He was, and then this shot right here. Like, oh
yeah, right before commercial.
I'm gonna make you my bitch. Like that's what, like that. Okay, I think I was really upset when they turned Hobbs heel right at when they did it for this whole ops thing. And I'm gonna be honest, dude. Shibata as a heel, it's kind of funny because it's not working. He's trying. He's like this, but
we'll see next week or when the match. We'll see how that turns out.
But Hobbs, this was the right move because we really had gotten Hobbs to a point where he other than being part of the ops, they weren't. You need to do something to make him a little more interesting, and turning him heel, I think has elevated him here a little bit. But I thought this was great. This was such a great match. This was exactly what I hoped it would be. And Hanger was a madman.
Oh my!
I got a kick. Did you watch the audience members when they were up there? There's this one
getting shoot out of the way.
Yeah, well, there one lady, she wouldn't move, and the security had to pretty much grab her. She's like, "Oh no, I paid for these seats in this martini. I'm not gonna move." And there was just so many ladies. There was one lady's freaking out. Everybody's up there. Phenomenal. And the ending, the way they Hobbs just into the electrical pyrotechnics, whatever. Oh, this was.
Honestly, Hobbs was on my short list for top performer of the night as well, because he not only delivered such amazing offense with Hangman busting his back and just pacing the match so well. Like, as we've spoken highly on him, like this match is the reason why he's going to be a future champ in AEW, world champ, and because he's just that good. And this is a match I've probably, correct me if I'm wrong, or if you agree, like probably the most abuse or most, offense against Hobbs that he's taken. I've never seen him take a bump like that. I've never seen him take bumps like that, off the grandstand, off the table, and big bumps like that. So props to him, and hopefully he's doing all right today. I'm sure he's a little bit sore, but back home with his family. But wow, that was it was quite the match, to follow up an incredible opening match. Tough to do, but AEW did such a good job sprinkling in the segments too. The FTR segment, the Young Bucks segment, to help continue storylines. We had FTR confront Ricky Steamboat, which is really adding more fire to the heat that FTR is getting. And let's go back to this one, since we're out of cowboy shit style, even though I love my cowboy hat. But I felt like this had its purpose and everything possible, but it just kind of was a little long and not as smooth as I expected it to be. Maybe it's just Steamboat not being able to deliver such clean promos as FTR. Yeah. However, it delivered on its purpose to get more heat and have the hero's reception with Bandito and Brody King. This will allow, hopefully, Ricky Steamboat to be in the audience at Full Gear, which they invited them to Full Gear. So maybe he gets involved there and costs FTR the titles or whatever it may be there. So as his revenge.
I think.
What are your thoughts on this segment?
I think you're right. He's Ricky Steamboat. He's legend, and I think he did a lot better. And I understand, of course, that Flair was supposed to be out there too. I do think some of it was, Ricky just not quite unknowing where to be or whatever. And they kind of had him out there, and out of respect, they aren't going to interrupt him or anything like that.
Right.
But I think that, to me, this was kind of the cool down after the carnage that we had witnessed up to this point.
Which is good. You need a breather.
Yeah. And it does perpetuate the FTR versus Brodito stuff. It's something to chew on. Anytime they're in like Greensboro or Charlotte, they're going to try to bring out some of the legends, especially
and that guy's sign
and it, exactly. So I do think this was I don't want to call it a pee break, or a beer break, I guess, but it was a cool down, but it did what it was supposed to do. Because, Brodito still got a great pop, and we're seeing this whole thing. And of course, we're going to get we're probably will see Steamboat at Full Gear, and he'll probably get a chop in on Dax or something like that. And I thought it was really good. But
Get his revenge. He
Bro,
looked kind of wobbly afterwards too.
But seeing Brodito, just get that little bit of pop, that was fantastic. And also we got to talk about. I think you're right, dude. Obviously we got Josh Alexander and the Bucks are going to go against Kenny and Jungle Express, Jurassic Express, sorry. But yeah, dude. What do you think, man? Are we about to get the Elite back together?
I think it's only a matter of time, and I like that they're kind of slow playing this. What if? So I was kind of thinking of a hot take, which I'll mention it momentarily, and it'd probably be controversial to a lot of you all, and maybe not wanting it, but I would love to see it. But I really hope that. But do we get a double swerve at Jurassic Express joining Don Callis, or how it's going to work? I feel like Don Callis is going to come out, and then after the match, after the Bucks lose, they're going to ask for their thing, and they're going to just beat down the Bucks. Kenny's going to be torn. Jurassic Express is going to be torn, and then they're all going to come save the day, and then it's going to be like a 5-on-5 match with Jurassic Express, Kenny Omega, and the Elite, which will not necessarily give us a full reunion yet, but it's going to be the right stepping stones with that. Now, hot take down the line, what I would love to see is a full-on war with OGs versus Don Callis, meaning Elite, including Hangman. And then I would like to see, personally, a double swerve where Chris Jericho comes out acting like he's joining the Don Callis family and then helps the Elite. And then Jericho doesn't join the Elite, but he's helping Elite to save kind of AEW in a sense, like a team AEW, team OG's AEW. I don't want to see Jericho leave personally. I think he was too pivotal for this. Maybe internally, if he wants to do whatever he wants to do to kind of, send him off into the sunset. But I would love to see Jericho come out, and because he's had that feuding with Callis before and teaming with Callis and all this. So I would love to see him act like he's joining the Elite and then turn on the Elite with helping out the Elite.
Oh, interesting. Okay. It could be, my thoughts on Jericho. He's been talking up Teen. I think he's doing negotiation stuff, whatever. Here's what I think's going to happen more short term. I think we're going to get, it's like you said, I actually do think the Bucks and Josh Alexander are going to win. But
you think Bucks are going to win?
I think the Bucks and Josh Alexander are going to win, or it's going to be one of those moments though where then they ask him to join. There already that guilty conscience is going to kick in. Bucks are going to turn down the Callis family. The Callis family is going to attack the Bucks. Kenny, of course, will come in. However, there's the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's Hangman at this point doesn't need to come back to the Elite. It'd be the only reason for him to rejoin the Elite would just be nostalgia. He doesn't
right, which I would love to see.
Which would be great, but we don't need him right now. That could happen later on. But there is a fourth person that could join the Elite as a new member to join the Elite, who Kenny has had under his wing for years behind the scenes. I think what we're going to get is the Bucks, Kenny, Takeshita.
Could you imagine Kenny and Takeshita teaming up for some tag team matches too?
Against Okada and insert name here would be
Procada.
Procada versus Kenny and Takeshita. Where do I sign?
They already are hinting for that tag team.
For this. That can you imagine?
There's plenty donated last night. They're all good.
Yes, yeah, there was. Yeah, there was. Yeah. Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
That would be. I like that. I like that pathway. I really do, and I really hope so, because after Full Gear, you give us some fresh stuff. Give us some fresh resets. Some, we were kind of talking. Hopefully, some surprises last night. Not necessary, but always surprises are really fun. Full Gear is already being set up to be an awesome card with the world titles on the line. We have the tag team titles on the line. We have the TNT title on the line with some big stipulations. We have a casino gauntlet match. So it's looking, shaping out for a new title. So it's like a lot of stuff's going on.
It's going full gear.
Love it. Yeah, it's going full gear, kicking it into full gear.
Well,
so I love that idea with the Elite.
We pretty much covered everything that happened last night. Oh, wait.
Yeah, so thanks for stopping. I'm just kidding.
That's all we have time for. Oh, yeah. There was this.
I don't know how Darby Allin can even walk. Period. Even before this match, the bumps that he takes, like, I don't know how he can physically walk. Like, he must have steel bones, and like he must just really have no pain receptors.
Yeah. He's cartilage, dude. He's like Tony Hawk, but he's taken way many more wipeouts.
MVPs of both. Same question I asked you earlier. MVPs of Death Riders and the Conglomerate Allens.
All right, I'm gonna say that this does not mean this is my top performer. So I'm gonna take the ending away and say overall, as far as the match without the ending.
Sure.
All right, for the heels, yeah, it's between Wheeler Yuta and Claudio for me.
Good choices.
For Wheeler Yuta, first of all, okay, Wheeler Yuta was the first of the heels to come out. That was a good choice to have him go up against Darby. Also, out of all of the heels, Wheeler has such great heat, and he knows how to stoke it. They were booing him again. F you, Yuta. Wheeler has really impressed me. He's really like the Shave Yuta sign I saw when he came out. There's so much great stuff. I would argue Wheeler Yuta probably to me was because he was first. He did a lot of cool spots.
That's tough.
The only thing that rivals that was the presence of Claudio. Up until the point Claudio came in, it seemed like an even kind of back and forth. Then Claudio, it was like daddy's home. It's like
the boogeyman arrived.
He just came in and started wrecking people, and he's such a strong, quick. He's the Swiss Superman for a reason. And when he was swinging both Orange Cassidy and Darby, swinging Darby with Orange Cassidy on his back, I mean, I think I got to go Claudio on this one. Claudio, I think, was the top guy for the heels. For the baby faces, I could argue Darby. I could argue Orange Cassidy. I could argue Mark, except they did kind of that gimmick where is he going to come out or not. Who impressed me the most was Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. Not giving away the ending, I loved a lot of the transitions and the stuff that Kyle O'Reilly was doing. I don't normally like that catch can kind of wrestling stuff. I like more, old school stuff. But Roderick Strong also impressed me. So I'd have to say for the baby faces, it's Kyle O'Reilly was my top performer. For the baby faces. Heels, I'm going to say Claudio.
I'm kind of with you with that, and we've been giving Wheeler his rightful praise week in and week out because he is doing some great stuff, heel work, 101, excellent crowd work, excellent pacing, and not only that, he takes a ton of abuse. He has been the backbone of a lot of matches, and especially last night, like you said, he started the match and he ended the match, near the end. He was on the cage. He was all over the place, featured in a lot of important spots. And so they put that responsibility on him, and he delivers every time. So heel wise, but I'm going with Claudio. Like, as soon as he starts walking in the ring, like the guy just walking to the ring, he's like, this
daddy's home.
It's like a horror movie coming in. Boogeyman's showing up. He's going to be, shit's about to hit the fan on that. So Claudio is also my MVP on Team Death Riders. I feel like they're protecting Pac a little bit, which is good because we don't want to see him back on the shelf. We don't want him to be out there for 30 minutes in a brutal match because as the commentator team and everyone, I'm sure agrees, like this match could take time off your career, period, because of how brutal it is. Darby, who knows, man, if he's ever going to walk again after last night, which is insane. But, I felt like all guys really had on babyface team some good spots. And it's hard to pick someone like Darby because he took so much abuse, but he has that energizer, never give up attitude. Briscoe coming out as a surprise after he was attacked backstage. But yeah, Kyle O'Reilly, Star was born last night, in my opinion, or Star was validated. It was such an awesome rub, as we say, the Moxley rub that we're getting out of him after week in and week out, coming up short, getting a DQ and all this and having some great matches. But I do like that old school wrestling, like you said, but I can appreciate how technical wrestling, like he can just, roll into an ankle lock, roll into an armbar, then roll into some pinning move and roll into this. And like he rarely impresses me with that. And I'm a big Danielson fan and I love Danielson's kicks, and Kyle O'Reilly's got those style of kicks that I'm a big fan of. They're brutal. So really great showing from both teams. The bar was set high because of how amazing the women did to kick off the show and then following up that last man standing match. And this was another one. I'm like, how is this one going to end? And of course we had to see some shenanigans done by Gabe Kidd coming out there. We had to see Wheeler Yuta stick the keys down his pants. And then we had the tackle box, and then Briscoe coming to break the lock to get in to save the day. The Heroes reception on there as well. A lot of blood, a lot of color on all of us. I don't know if I've ever seen Claudio get color ever. And I don't know if that type of thing. Yeah,
he doesn't. He bleeds. I mean, I didn't think
alien.
I didn't think Ishii bled until he fought Mox that one time. Yeah, but
you make me bleed my own blood.
Yes, I am. He's steel. He's the Swiss Superman. What did you think of this spot here? The Darby catching on fire and having to roll into the blanket.
Man, this. I want to know what backstage, like, let's do this. Who comes up with this idea?
Oh, Darby. And I don't even think it's let's do this. I think Darby's like, hey, Tony, that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna set it on fire. Or if he even tells Tony. At this point, Tony's probably like, just don't die. Just don't get us sued.
Drag me up with a belt around my neck, up a ladder, and then throw me through 2 tables from the top, about 15 feet up, and then might as well throw it on fire.
We got. I like this idea. We got to start the Darby kill count, but it's not like how like other kill counts are who they kill. This is the Darby suicide count or death count. Like every time he's like a cat with 9 lives. We got to. How many lives of Darby?
I know.
He spent at least like 5 of them last night. Just last night where he could have died. Oh my goodness!
I don't know. This wasn't necessary. It was definitely a memorable moment, that fire. But the way they ended this match, it's another one. I was scratching my head. How's it going to end? The Moxley rub, and this was such a. I'm okay with Moxley losing these couple matches as of late and all that, because you can tell like he's doing this for the company. He's not the egotistical, like, he's giving everyone, putting people over what's better. And I think this will now cause some kind of reset with the Death Riders. What direction do you think they're going after this?
Oh no, I think it's fine. The Death Riders at this point, they can afford to lose because they're the heels, and
they always seem to bounce back.
Moxley's still a BMF, I mean, it's the way that Kyle O'Reilly got this win. First of all, I thought that's why, going back to the way the women's match ended with Toni Storm surrendering so that to spare Mina. I thought Roderick Strong was going to cost the baby faces the match, because the way the sequence was, it looked Kyle O'Reilly had the ankle lock. And then Moxley reversed it, and he was going in for the choke. And it looked like that's what was going to happen. Is O'Reilly was going to Roderick was going to surrender to save Kyle, but then Kyle did that maneuver and he just backed to it, and it was like crap, here we go. And he got him, and it was glorious. And it was such a great way to win, and it was a great way to put Kyle O'Reilly over. And see, the thing about Moxley is Dynamite, Moxley's still going to be talking smack. Gabe Kidd's going to be involved. I don't think there's going to be a question about Moxley. I think he's fine. I know some people have.
They bounce back so well.
Yeah, he'll be back to fight another day. I mean, when we would watch cartoons as a kid, or when we, any serial television show where the villain keeps coming back every week, they eventually the good guys win, but the bad guys will come back again. They're still a threat, and Moxley's still a threat. I wouldn't want to get in the ring with him. Nobody walked away with with their soul completely intact. But I do think I thought this was tremendous. I don't think Moxley loses anything with this, and like you said, he's doing this for the company. And I do think, Kyle O'Reilly really got validated last night. The only thing I'll say is I got to stop my overbooking mind. We could call this, remember we had booking by Bonds. We need overbooking by Mindrunner, because.
Yeah, you had a few of those.
Well, I'm sitting there waiting for, I'm sitting there thinking Briscoe's going to be out. They're going to need a fifth member, and Switchblade Jay White's going to come back. And I'm like, no, Keith Lee's going to come back. I'm like, no. Oh, I know. Karrion Kross is going to debut. No. And they kept thinking, like, who's going to do it? And then I realized, shut up. You're overbooking. What's Tony Khan going to do? No, this is just building up for Mark Briscoe to show up. And sure enough, he did. And it was fine. It was great. As soon as I got to turn off that overbooking mind, because I'm setting up for stupid stuff when what we got was a delicious steak dinner. It was extra rare. It was a bloody steak.
Extra rare.
It was delicious, and I had.
You're right. I mean, as a fan, like, you want to see kind of cool surprises like that. As I text you guys, I was like, hopefully. I was hoping to come save the day was the Bang Bang Gang against the Ops. Like, that's who I want to see go against the Ops. But it's interesting. Like, I still think the Death Riders are such an important group in AEW. Yeah. Like, any kind of split up, anything like that is still premature. Yeah. Moxley took the loss at All In, where we were there, and rebounded really well with some stuff. And now, like, these past few months, he's getting DQ'd. He's losing match. He lost that qualifying match to Roddy Strong because he was counted out. And then now he's the one who tapped out for their team. Like, where do you go? Like, I think as of now, they don't have anything slated for Full Gear. So maybe some kind of, as we saw backstage, where Claudio is kind of eyeballing Fletcher. Do you see anything intertwining with the Callis family? Like, I'm not sure. Like, what would you do next with Death Riders, thinking of after this match?
Well, Mark Briscoe, of course, he's going to be involved with Callis stuff. Death Riders, I mean, there could be some dissension. I think we're probably going to see more conglomeration with them again. We'll probably see Roderick Strong and Kyle. Moxley's going to want to hurt Kyle O'Reilly for getting the win. So they're going to probably come after Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. So that could lead into something. There's a lot of things. You're asking Mr. Overbook, though. So I mean, I would introduce Karrion Kross, but that's just me. I think there's and they may not 100% know which way they're going to go, but all I got to say about last night is this to kind of close out my thoughts on it. This was a 2.5 hour Dynamite, and it went by faster than many other Dynamites, in my opinion. It
really did,
go by faster, and I thought it was. I was enjoying it from start to finish. Even like we said, the cool. I call it cool down because I know my wife called it a beer break, but I call it a cool down. That cool down spot with FTR and the Ricky. Other than that, I mean, I thought this whole thing was enjoyable. I really enjoyed the whole. All the matches were great. The ladies made me so stinking proud to be a women's wrestling fan. Everybody delivered, and I'll tell you what else got validated besides the talent. AEW wrestling fans got validated because their product was awesome. Yes, and like my lovely goddess wife says, this show is pay-per-view quality. I agree. This was a bloody Valentine to fans. Chef's kiss.
You're right. It was as I said in the earlier show, exceeded my expectations and in such a good way with the cherry on top. And our top performer, I had to go with the same one you picked, Kyle O'Reilly, but just because, almost like the unsung hero kind of coming to save the day, even though, he's not just, technically, I guess, an underdog against Mox, but to have that moment in such a awesome pivotal match where you have to tap or give up, and he finally he was getting close, then something happened, getting close, then Moxley hit the ref, and so getting close goes that slow build for the ultimate payoff to end the night. And then if you watch any of the social stuff where they're on the mic after the show and Orange Cassidy getting the chant, "You tapped out," and Moxley going away, I think Death Riders are going to be fine. Conglomeration needed this extra momentum for sure with that, but Kyle O'Reilly, man, next in store, who knows? Hopefully, I was just going to see what title, and I see Steven say TNT title, battle of the Kyles again.
Yes.
We'll see what's going to happen. Who knows? I mean, is Kyle Fletcher going to be the champ after, and Briscoe's going to have to leave the conglomeration, or what? Or is Briscoe going to be the champ? I don't know. That's one I hate. Sometimes stipulations I do not like those ones that were saved for our preview show. But rankings, wow, I gotta say, Bobby is taking the ball and running with it, man. I think he was on the middle right side for a few weeks, and then he's just been shooting threes, shooting points all the last couple of weeks, man, especially with the women on his roster. Man, he's doing some stuff. Let me see who's on his roster exactly.
Yes,
again, he's really getting a lot of points.
I think he has Tekla and Sky Blue, but he's also got he also had who did he have that
he's got Samoa Joe, Tekla, Brody King, Ty Mello, Juice, Sky Blue, Shibata. So those 6 he's getting points with, because especially the trios champs.
Sorry, Courtney. At Full Tilt Deb is now the sole caboose.
And we'll be doing our +3 after Full Gear.
Yeah.
So Full Gear, which we should probably do, I would say let's do it before Dynamite so we can get those points right away, because we only, after Full Gear, we have just a hair over a month of the draft. So after Full Gear, maybe a day or two after that, we'll let it settle, and then we'll do our +3 to add to our division.
We could do a Monday or a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
If everybody else is up for that. Yeah.
It's tight. It's tight.
I think there may be some talent by then that return or debut that might be worth pick. Deb's, I want to bring up the rear snort. Okay. Why don't you pick up Brandon Cutler then? You get Cutler and Serpentico, and get Andrade. You should get Andrade.
That's such a weird whole thing too, man. Like, he would have been a great +3 pick for sure. It's very interesting, that story. I don't know.
They were plugging him in for a feud with Kenny, and oh well. Like I said though, dude, I told you I am not comfortable. I was not comfortable in first place. I'm still, anything can happen. It's, look at Brent right behind me, Cray and you and Steven, everybody. It's striking distance except my wife. It's fantastic. Yes, get the male models, the MX. There we go.
You can be part of their casting call, the Full Tilt Deb casting call.
There you go. All right.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. Thank you. Next week we got a show. We got our Dynamite download show plus our preview show leading into Full Gear week next week. So hope you all enjoyed watching us. Thanks for stopping by always, and we'll see you next Thursday for Dynamite download 219.
Stop.